After having seen it so many times, watching a chorus line again at the Muny is almost like observing some kind of ritual. There is the director, Zach, again calling on each of the dancers auditioning for the chorus line to tell him something about themselves. And they do, one by one. And we know what they're going to say, and we wait for them to say it, and they say it. The little boy at his sister's dance class, the girl escaping her unhappy home to go to where everything is beautiful at the ballet, the adolescent's pain when his family discovers him in a drag show, the frustrating experience of a high school acting class, the anticipation and dread of that moment when you've grown too old to dance. Instead of the usual single story of boy meets girl, we have a dozen stories. But like that single story, these multiple stories have a carefully contrived progression of their own. They begin in the childhood of those who tell them how they first fell in love with dance. Other stories tell of adolescent agonies and joys, and finally the hardships and rewards of life as an adult dancer, ending with that anxiety of what follows when you can no longer dance. And the stories are carefully selected to include a range of social backgrounds, ethnic types, degrees of success in the business, the whole diverse population of people who make a life in the theater. As we again observe the ritual of a chorus line, knowing what makes up that ritual and anticipating each moment, it's no empty ritual that we are observing at the Muny, when at the top of the show, a stage full of dancers going through steps in an audition with their backs to us turn and dance toward us and for us. The energy unleashed is almost shocking. And while we have heard each of those stories repeated often, and the actors saying them have no doubt heard and repeated them often, they make them as real as if it were the first time, and fully invested with all the real emotions of that first time. So this ritual, conceived by the director and choreographer Michael Bennett, given shape by book writers James Kirkwood and Nicholas Dante, set to infectious music by Marvin Hamlisch, with words by Edward Kleban, it again speaks not just for dancers in a chorus, but for anyone who has ever aspired to a dream. The final number, the chorus, now in gilded costumes, dancing and singing in perfect unison, still gives a little thrill even to jaded old guys like me who've seen the show over and over and over and have long since given up any hope of ever again dancing in a chorus. At the Muny, director and choreographer Dennis Jones takes advantage of that theater's size and its resources to add the youth ensemble as the child version of some of those telling their stories and to swell the ranks of the ballet and acting classes. Paige Hathaway's set uses the movable booms painted like the upstage wall for much of the action, opening to an array of mirrors in the video screen with Nathan W. Scheuer's often imaginative designs, with lighting by Rob Denton, costumes by Andrea Lauer, and driving musical direction by Ben Whiteley. Though one, catchy as it is, does repeat a little too much toward the end. Ivan Hernandez's Zach, the director, respects the delicacy of the audition process and becomes a counselor for Ian Paget's Paul, who has the longest story. Bianca Marroquin gives full range to Cassie's drive, dynamic in the music and the mirror dance, though I wish Jones gave her more to do with her waving arms. Holly Ann Butler gives Sheila attitude. Mackenzie Bell celebrates Val's surgical enhancements. Hannah Florence plums Diana's adolescent angst, and I could and should go on through the whole cast, fine individually and together. The weather's pleasant in Forest Park now, too.
It certainly is, and I like the way this production took the play very seriously, unlike some others I've seen that had too much shtick in them recently.
Very real this was. But let's hear some of that music.
Knew every step right off the bat. You said, I can do that. I can do that. One morning, sis won't go to dance class. I grabbed her shoes and tights and all, but the foot's too small, so I stuffed her shoes with extra socks. Run 7 blocks in nothing flat.